Last January, Belle Plaine resident and do-gooder named Joanne Gill was taking a stroll through the local Veterans Park, and she found a metal silhouette statue of a kneeling soldier in front of a cross remembering his fallen comrades. The first thing that went into Joanne Gill's mind was, this is a separation between church and state. At least her interpretation of it. Even though if you look at the Constitution, it says something to the like of Congress shall make no law regarding the establishment of a religion. So that means that no laws can be made favoring one religion or another. For example, Sunday liquor sales, or lack thereof, are a complete violation of that law. After Joanne Gill was triggered by this inanimate object statue that is completely non-offensive to anybody, she decided to file a police report to the city of Belle Plaine. Joanne Gill didn't stop there. She decided to file a complaint with the atheist group Freedom from Religion Foundation that is based in Madison, Wisconsin. After backlash from this Christian conservative town, about 6,700 people, veterans groups, religious groups, and just free speech people of Belle Plaine decided to gather and protest at Veterans Park, and they'd even camp out there for weeks on end over their religious rights and statues and saying this isn't a violation of free speech at all. And it doesn't hurt anybody. After pressure on city government and the mayor, they decided to defy the threatened lawsuit and put the memorial back up. After that, atheist groups and satanic groups got wind of this all the way out in Salem, Massachusetts, and decided to put a satanic monument of their own remembering soldiers. The Satanic Temple of Salem, Massachusetts is making a statue, which is a black cube about 2 feet by 2 feet with inverted pentagrams on it, the same kind that you find on the Medal of Honor, unfortunately, and with a soldier's helmet on its head, or on its top, I should say. If you want to look at the black cube, it resembles the Kaaba that all Muslims have to pray towards that is in Mecca, that is the Hajj pilgrimage. And they walk circles around it, and that's what they do. It's the same looking black cube. Well, on Sunday, April 30th, which is yesterday, from the time of the shooting, camera shooting, the Star Tribune, the main newspaper of Minneapolis, reads, Belle Plaine's Veterans Park to include Satanic Monument. And then its little lead under it says, that's the unintended consequence of a small town saga over free speech. So what they're basically saying is, hey, Christians, this is what you get. And nobody's arguing that this is a violation between church and state. We're just complaining against Satanism. And you don't see the left coming out against satanic churches in this instance of a religious symbol being on public property. This is a clear retaliatory move against Christians. Whether you like Christians or not, they're not the ones that are beheading people and doing all sorts of stuff in the name of Christianity. What the argument here, at least the argument that I'm proposing, is the moral argument against Satanism. What attracts people to Satanism is that it says, you're free, you can do whatever you want, whatever reality lets you do, whatever's within the laws of physics, and that's what attracts people to it. But to give you an example of what dedicated satanic devotees do, let me list a few things for you. FBI tapes of a raid of a satanic cult hidden in the woods, this was in 1998, reveal a very, very graphic scene. A pair of teenage girls were found in the house during this raid, and their hands were covered in blood. On the table next to them was a severed head in a box to be sold to other Satanists for their ritual practices. Along with that were drugs and other body parts, a satanic altar with a pentagram. In the middle of it was a cup of human blood, and the blood in it was still warm, along with the blood on the severed head. The two teenage girls that were there in the scene, with the ones with the blood on their hands, literally, said that 27 other murders or human sacrifices in the name of Satanism were committed by them in their cult. FBI officials found videotapes, snuff films of rituals being taken place of human sacrifice, where a man was being stabbed repeatedly, his throat slit, blood all over the place, chunks of skin ripped off his face with a knife. And this was in order to get initiates that have been inducted into their cult, give them instruction on how to do a human sacrifice. Video is online if you want to see it. if you can stomach graphic things. Also, in 2014, a 19-year-old girl by the name of Miranda Barbour of Sunbury, Pennsylvania, who is a self-proclaimed Satanist, admitted to killing 23 people, one of which she and her husband lured a 42-year-old man in a Craigslist ad for sex. And once the man got into the car, Miranda's husband strangled the man while he was in the front seat while she stabbed him over 20 times. And that was just what she was arrested over. That was before she admitted to all these other murders. 19-year-old Miranda at the time admitted she started killing people shortly after she joined a satanic cult in Alaska. Former head of FBI Ted Gunderson gave a speech saying that Satanists do around 50 to 60,000 human sacrifices within the United States every year.
There are between 50 and 60,000 human sacrifices, according to 3 different sources, in this country every year.
And speaking of human sacrifices, maybe there's a connection here, but the Satanic Temple of Salem, Massachusetts is big in what they call women's reproductive rights. And what that really means is pro-abortion. Now, if you want to consider abortion a human sacrifice to Satan or whatever they want to call it, you can make that conclusion yourself. But I'm pretty sure they consider abortion a human sacrifice, and human sacrifice is what they love. And speaking of human sacrifice, today is May 1st, and people often refer to this as Workers' Day or something, some communist holiday. But even way before that, is called Belle Plaine Festival, where Satanists or cult members would go around and find a human to sacrifice and murder in the name of whatever their cult ritual, satanic ritual is or was at the time. And it is still being celebrated in Europe rampantly. Maybe not with people actually being murdered in plain view, but there are festivals called Belle Plaine where people dance around a big fire with devil horns on their head. But when it comes to Christianity, the worst, the most extreme examples of Christians that you'll get are either people driving their vans into a Planned Parenthood in the middle of the night, killing nobody, or you get the Westboro Baptist Church showing up at veterans' funerals saying God hates fags and harassing people that are trying to remember their fallen family member, friend, comrade, what have you. And nobody likes them, and people want them beaten up. Which that means mainstream Satanism is far more worse than the most extreme examples of Christianity that you'll find. What's more on Satanism is that all religions refer to Satan as bad, evil, torturous, and manipulative. So this isn't an argument over free speech that I'm proposing. This is an argument over morality. Christians generally want to do charity and help poor people and help the underprivileged, whereas Satanism wants to make you look like a victim and tell you that you can go have sex with whatever you want and kill your kids. You make the conclusion for yourself. Belle Plaine, you make the conclusion for yourself. I'm Alex Hoddle with mnoutlook.com. More to come.